Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Mike Force podcast. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired. If you can tell by my extra Asian eyes, they're half the width that they normally are, and that's a measure. You can actually take a measuring tape and measure the opening to my eye to determine how awake I am. Yeah, I got jokes. So, just got back from North Carolina, had an amazing time with Sean and Kevin, my training directors at Fieldcraft Survival. We have a training office in Aberdeen, North Carolina. If you didn't know, make sure you stay tuned to fieldcraftsurvival.com and see what training is on the calendar this year. Reducing cost, depending on the geographical location, isolating a few spots and partner rangers, and focusing down on quality training. It's about quantity because I want to offer a progressive path to your learning, but I also want to maintain the integrity of the quality. We got the best instructors in the world. There's no doubt we have some of the best talent in tactical instruction. And on a quick note, because I just posted on a story on my Instagram at mike.a.glover for all gun content, at Mike Glover Actual for everything else. I posted a little piece about entrepreneurship and your attention in looking at competition left and right. I never look at competition because we stand alone. The things that we do are unique to our business, and I don't have competition. I mean, I have tactical businesses that want to be us, and so they look at us as competitors, and they're competing against us. They're even replicating what we're doing. I take no offense to that. If you want to start Fieldcraft Survival, do you. Fieldcrestsurvival.net, do you. That doesn't exist, not yet. But do you? I'm excited for entrepreneurs to start businesses and use sound principles to start that business. But the reason I don't look at other businesses as competition is because I don't have the time. When you're trying to innovate a space, when you're trying to create core curriculums, it's not like a franchise business where you can replicate it and it's a benefit to you. This is an unknown space called the preparedness space that's full of a whole bunch of companies that suck. Just being frank and honest with you. A whole bunch of businesses that don't make a lot of sense to me. Very confusing when I was in special operations trying to work with businesses in the field of preparedness, and I just don't really know what they do. So when you look at Fieldcraft Survival, when we're focused on education, training, and products to make you better prepared, then it's an easy line out for me. But there's no business structure like it. So I don't have competition. And if I do, they're collaborative partners. There are many partners that I work with, that I train with, that help me and I help them because we understand that the consumer wants options. If you're in business and you don't realize that yet, then you're making a mistake. I'm wearing this tight-ass cool shirt. I mean, it's tight because I've been back in the gym thanks to Mountain Tough and all the things that I'm doing with fitness now, where I'm getting back building some muscle. And it's going to blow my stuff up, man. I'm already back in XXL shirts. Look at that damn deep V. Already back in, if you're listening to this and you're not watching it, I'm on YouTube. That's why I'm placating to the camera. But this is an XL shirt. It's too small for me. But I like this shirt. I like cool. I like everything they stand for as a brand. They're born in the outdoors, right up my alley, because as a contractor, when I could finally afford cool clothing, because it's high quality, the best, I think, in the world, then I started wardrobing myself out when I started becoming an entrepreneur. Now, do I wear other things? Yes, I'm wearing Levi pants right now. I might not be wearing any pants. Who knows? I'm wearing Levi pants right now because they make high quality denim and I love their pants. But that doesn't mean I don't have cool pants. That doesn't mean I don't have Patagonia shirts. That doesn't mean I have my own clothing from Fieldcraft Survival. It just means I like options. I like choices. So when you're looking at tactical instruction, for example, there are a lot of options out there. In special operations, what we did was we found the best in the world, whether companies or individuals, and learned something from them. Yeah, a lot of the things they did in USPSA wasn't completely applicable to combat, but that didn't matter because we weren't looking for them to teach us in tactics. We were looking at their skill sets, gun handling, accuracy, proficiency, all that stuff. So when you look at Fieldcraft, we have a collaboration with a whole bunch of great companies and partners that are right up your alley. I don't have, for example, a food storage company. So we work with Ready Hour, 25-year shelf life, good price point, great quality food. I don't make beef jerky. So we do that with Anthem Snacks. SF buddies that work there in good old Montana, and it's the best beef jerky on the planet. I've had a lot of beef jerky. I like the meat, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't say that. I probably get censored or banned for that. CBD, for example. I have my own CBD, CBN company. We don't exclusively focus on CBD because that's not our thing. We focus on the quality of sleep. TheWolf21.com. You can go there and get CBD, CBN, and set it up for living your best life. But I use Uncanna CBD. I use it every day, actually, because I need it for chronic pain that I deal with, and it kind of suppresses that signal blasting itself through my nervous system, and I use it. So, one, as an entrepreneur, you don't have exclusivity in anything. Get over yourself. Number two, focus your attention on making your business better by focusing on the quality of life for your employees, optimizing performance, efficiency, and time, coming up with better ideas for products, for services, and do you, man. All these companies that talk shit about Fieldcraft Survival, about Black Rifle Coffee, about all the things we're doing, you know what you're doing? You're probably struggling, which, hey, I'm here to help you. You're probably going through some hardship, and that's your outlet, your emotional outburst. I see people do it all the time. I see guys do it all the time. Look, I'm here to help you. I want to help. This isn't from a place of ego. This is a place from learning those hard lessons over the last 7 years and not willing to make those mistakes again. Guys, my first rally race is next week. What am I talking about? It's in 3 days. Dude, I don't even know what month it is right now. I just got back from the airport last night at 10 something, got back in the bed at 11 something. This is my Oz Rally Pro notes from my mentor, Ree, who is Travis Pastrana's co-driver. I have all these beautiful notes that are going to help me accomplish everything that I want to accomplish in rally via my experience. Rally is just not getting in a car and ripping it through the woods. It is very complex, which is why I love it. I love the art of rally. It has to do with getting outdoors, doing the reconnaissance, doing the preparation, setting your car up, dialing it in, maintaining and sustaining that through the long haul, through each stage of race, and driving with your co-driver, who's like a sniper spotter. Your spotter or your co-driver is giving you pace notes, allowing you to facilitate the speed and efficiency and accuracy on the course. You have to do that reconnaissance prior, because if you don't collect the information, you won't have a better sight picture, and then you'll fail on race day. All of these things is what makes this beautiful, and I'm blessed to be in a position to drive Black Rifle Coffee's car. The bottom line is I can't afford my own. I don't have the capital. I don't have the expertise. I went in and had a conversation with Jared Taylor of Black Rifle and Evan Hafer, who were embedded with Dale, Texas's own Dave from Rally Ready. I think he's the only business, or the most popular business. I wouldn't say only. There's like 3 businesses. The most popular business outside of Austin, Texas, and Dale, Texas, besides the gas station and the taco shop. Great tacos, great gas. But Dave, in all his graciousness, has offered me free training, a place and spot on a motorsports team that's established with Bucky Lasik, a pro skater turned X Games turned professional rally race car driver, used to race for Subaru USA, and all this amazing talent. You know, Travis Pastrana, who's now sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee. He used to be sponsored by Red Bull. His co-driver, Ree, have been mentoring me through this content media stuff that we're doing, but actually training me. And it's amazing to have mentors like that. So I'll be racing my first American Rally Association race, ARA national race, in Salem, Missouri, this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'll be racing on Friday and Saturday. The recce is on Thursday, and you can come out and see us. Break bread with Travis Pastrana, me, Bucky, JT, Dave, all the guys and gals from Fieldcraft Survival and Black Rifle Coffee. We'll have free coffee for you. I'll have Fieldcraft swag out there for you. We want to bring more attention to what we see as a dying space because nobody's paying attention because they don't understand how amazing it is. Not a lot of companies are investing like Subaru, hopefully like Ford, hopefully like any company that's willing to invest in motorsports because we're bringing more attention to it. I love Rally because it's organic, an organic motorsport that you can get involved in that doesn't require a high level of capital or a massive undertaking as an entry point. It's something that you can get involved in with a rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive car, building out to safety spec, which is required, and going out and having fun. What motorsport can you jump on a stage and be competing against Ken Block and Travis Pastrana, some of the best in the world, right out the gate? And that's what Rally is. I will put this out. I'm going to beat Travis's records in the next 3 years. That's my goal, and I'm sticking to it. Got the first year of making mistakes, being a rookie. In fact, my first race in Salem, Missouri at 100 Acre in the Woods for ARA, I'm restricted for my first 3 races as a rookie. That's okay. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to go through the hardship and starting at the bottom and working myself to the top. Year 2, hopefully we got a sponsored relationship with a motorsports company who's investing in us. Not a motorsports company, but a manufacturer who's investing in us. And we get that year knocked out, and then we go into year 3 where it's time to put our what's the saying? Money where the mouth is? I don't even know, man. My brain. I need some of this damn coffee. Hold on one second, guys. If you get that audio slurp, that's a bonus. My editor might be cutting that stuff. I don't even know. Yeah, it's an amazing feat, but I'm going after records. I want Ken Block's Mount Washington. I want his Pikes Peak, and I want his ARA titles. That's going to take time, but I'm willing to commit to it. Let's talk about some sponsors, man. I want to say a big shout out to all the Black Rifle Coffee, Rally Ready, and Fieldcraft Survival sponsors who have stepped up. 9 Line Apparel, Redcon 1, Sabelt. Big shout out to everybody at Sabelt who's hooked it up with the best gloves, shoes, and racing suit, and accessories and everything. A little pro tip I got from some history on Sabelt. They're an Italian company. They were one of the only companies that was allowed to be branded, dual branded, in Ferraris with the Ferrari. I believe it was the F40. I might be speaking out my butt here, but I believe it's the F40. Amazing brand, amazing partnership we have with them. And if you're looking for race suits, the best in the world, if you're looking for equipment, safety equipment, seat belts, they have everything. Then check out them. That's SABELT. Also, big shout out to all the guys that stepped up sponsorship-wise in the last hour. I briefed a crap ton of companies who, because of the position we were in, they had to take a chance, a leap of faith, and they didn't step up. And that's okay, because I get that as an entrepreneur. But the companies that did, thank you. Thank you to Leopold. Thank you to Eagles and Angels. Thank you to Slumber and the Wolf 20. That Slumber makes Wolf 21. It's powered by Wolf or Slumber. Wolf 21 is my CBD company. But thank you to Slumber for stepping up. We have a whole bunch of people who did a whole bunch of work. Cobb Tuning, for example. A guy named Mike had a tuner shop that's local in Austin. All the guys and mechanics at Rally Ready, they stood up and helped get us off the ground. And I'm very appreciative of that, man. Without you guys, we couldn't be where we're at. Thank you to Mountain Tough. If it wasn't for Mountain Tough stepping up in the last hour, again, we wouldn't be here. KC Highlights, Alan Wang, big shout out to KC for giving us lights for all the rigs because we need them. We're going to have to be competing with them. After I do this race, I'm back for like a week, and I'm going to Mexico to run in a WRC kind of modified stage representing America as one of the U.S. cars in Mexico. It's a difficult, challenging race, and I get to race it. Man, what a privilege, man. What a privilege I have. It's that Asian privilege. Let's talk a little bit about Ukraine. Oh man, this stuff is bumming me. It's bumming me out. Here's let me tell you how I feel about this, and I want to be completely honest and transparent with this. I feel like we should be doing everything, including putting American boots on the ground to support Ukraine. Hear me out. Just hear me out. I hear people on the left and the right and wherever they come from saying, we don't need to get involved. We got involved in Afghanistan. We don't need to get involved in this. I understand that. I do. I fought in Afghanistan. I lost some of my best friends in Afghanistan. I understand that. But Afghanistan is very different than what's happening in Ukraine. Remember, Afghanistan, unlike the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, where they're trying to dominate terrain, and we helped them, the Central Intelligence Agency helped the Mujahideen defeat the Russians. This is not like this, where we go and occupy a nation and we are trying to take out radical extremists, and then we wind up occupying with bad tactics, bad strategy for 20 plus years. What we have to understand, what's taking place is the Soviet Union, the Russians, are trying to take back their empire. So in doing so, they don't care about a NATO alliance. They don't care about any sanctions that we put on them. Over 5,000 sanctions, by the way, the most we've ever put on a country in history. Does that seem to deter them? No. Look, they suck. The Russians suck. No doubt they suck. They suck militarily. They suck tactically. They suck strategically. They're a bunch of communists, and communism sucks. When you sanction a country like Russia, the only thing you're doing is hurting their people. Like, you're not hurting the empire. You think that they just put their money in a bank and then you freeze that bank account and they're like, yeah, so, well, that puts us out of the game. You think that's what happens? Did that deter them at all from doing what they're doing? What they're doing right now is an ideological war and campaign to get back to the origin story of Russia. Kiev, however you say it, is the origin story of Russia, I think in the year 1000. So when you think about where this started and then where this is going, our inability to lead from the front is disgusting. There's no doubt that it's disgusting. I've seen what failed leadership looks like, and this is definitely failed leadership. Coming from a position of weakness and talking a lot without action, or even the right assertive words to frame out our position, is disgusting. Like, what would I say to Russia if I was in this circumstance? Well, I would likely say, there is no negotiation here. We are going to annihilate you off the face of the planet if you think you're going to recreate World War II by fascist Nazis dominating terrain with the Japanese, even the Italians, and trying to take over the world. This is not going to happen. What we will do is stand with partners, including Ukraine, that are trying to be free people, not be dictated, be in a democracy where people, individuals, have rights and liberty and freedom. We are not going to stand by while you kill innocent men, women, and children. And that should be our global stance. Because the alternative is we are weak in every position that we are in. So let me give you a prime example of how this manifests itself. Libya, prime example. We said we're going to stand with the Libyans, and we do so in a proxy war. We kill Gaddafi, then we pull out and we leave what we think, and is in a Muslim society, we think we leave an opportunity, and what we actually do is leave a void for terrorism. Ukraine is not like that. They have a sovereign government in a position to be able to lead. They have proof in that. Yes, it's corrupt. Many nations like this are corrupt. They deal with corruption. But they're not established democracies like we are, right? They need work. But the alternative is now we're expanding the communist ideology across the region that's on the border of the EU, the border of our allies. So now we have a proxy war. So now we're pretending we're not fighting a war when we actually are, because we have 16,000. That's a late or early statistic. It's late now. It's probably 20,000+ Americans, and name the nation, that are stepping up the plate to support Ukraine. We have our involvement with providing defensive weapon systems, including surface-to-air missiles, Patriot missile systems, defense batteries on the border of Ukraine and Poland, as well as ammunition, weapons, etc., that we're funneling in, while the Russians are doing the same with the Chechens and the Syrians. Like, we are just fighting we have a chessboard, and now we're just adding pawns and players to the mix, and now we're just going to have a complete and utter destruction of Ukraine. Like, the whole aircraft thing blows my mind. Why aren't we willing to give Poland, who's going to give up their MiGs, I believe it's the MiG-29, which is a Russian airplane. Why aren't we willing to give that up to the Ukrainians to be able to counter the air support that Russia is using to bombard Ukraine? And then when we look at that, Poland wants in exchange an upgraded asset, an F-16. Why would we not do that? So it's like we're dipping our toes in the sand, but we're not committing. Just freaking commit. Because what Russia understands, because there's some hard-ass people, they understand strength. They don't understand weakness. Well, they do understand it because they'll take advantage of it and exploit the shit out of it, which they're doing now. They don't need us. Dude, Putin will blast his people back into the Stone Age for the sake of legacy, including taking Kiev, for Mother Russia. And who is suffering here? Only the people of Ukraine. So what's the ask, Mike? That's the question. What's the ask? Well, the ask is we first, from a diplomatic approach, stand in a position of power, which I think is too far too gone, right? I mean, can you imagine Biden getting up there like, we're going to do, and he's not going to say the right things. I mean, the dude is brain dead. It's insanity. But if we get past that, we have an opportunity to position ourselves in strength using words to say, if you don't pull forces out, we will bring in air assets, we will protect NATO allies, and we will blast you in the Stone Ages. Now, the detriment is the ballistic nukes that Russia has. From my understanding, this isn't classified, from my understanding, they don't have this massive nuclear capability to reach out with ICBMs and touch our country. But they certainly have the ability to reach out and touch all their neighbors. So that's scary. But you don't think we have the ability to target their entire nuclear arsenal? You don't think we know exactly where every nuke that exists in Russia is? I've never gotten the brief, so I'm not giving classified information. That's just common sense. We obviously know that. So once we stand in a position of power, we're basically pulling the trump card. We're saying, look, if you don't pull out forces on a timeline, we are going to protect Ukraine, NATO allies with air assets and every single piece of equipment, and the brunt and the surgical expertise of the world's best fighting machine on the planet Earth and the galaxy. So when you come from that position of strength, you're protecting the weak. We don't want to go into Ukraine and establish a long-form strategy to occupy Ukraine. We were already there, by the way, guys. We pulled out Americans when we were embedded there. the agency, the interagency, the military, we were always helping Ukraine. So am I saying that we need to start World War III? It's inevitable if we continue down this path. I mean, it's inevitable. And if we don't handle the bully on the playground right now, our grandkids or our kids, or maybe even us, will be fighting this road years down fighting this war years down the road. Please understand that this is a very complex situation. I'm not advocating for war. I don't want it. But how could you sit on a playground and watch an innocent child be destroyed, annihilated by some bully? That's what we're doing right now. And then we're standing on top of the swing set saying, hey, leave her alone. And if you don't, we're going to take your lunch money? Yeah. How much does that bully care about getting their lunch money taken? They don't care. They don't care. They're in this this is an ideological war. They're in this for the long haul. Moving on. Sam McIntyre will be in the house. Sam McIntyre is making some of the most beautiful paintings and prints I've ever seen. And he made a recent print, I believe on my request, of special operators and Iraqi counterterrorism forces doing bilateral or joint operations. It's an amazing print. He's actually shipping me the original painting, and I'm stoked about it, man. I'll have him on a podcast next week, and I'm super excited about the whole damn thing. Check him out at Prairie Fire. I can't remember if it's Prairie Fire. Just look up Prairie Fire on my Instagram on mike.a.glover and you'll find it. Also, I'm doing my first training course here soon, guys. May 13th, I'll be coming to Route 66 in San Bernardino, California, teaching a carbine LEO only course from 12 to 3 o'clock. 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. LE only for, I believe it's a couple $100. It's like $150 or something like that. It's super cheap. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to charge the officer? Because the last time I did this, I had 100 officers sign up and like 2 showed up because it was free, especially with an extended timeline like from here to May. I'm putting out early. It's $150. And I'm going to teach you carbine and how to run and gun and save your life with your duty gun or the gun that you have. Show up ready to train. We're getting it on. 12 to 3. On Saturday, May 14th, I will be teaching gunfighter pistol from 9 to 2. I'm excited about that because I haven't been on a range especially with my SIG AXG Pro. I'll be bringing the new SIG 320 Spectre out on the range for you guys to preview, but I want to see how it runs in my tactical blocks of instruction. You guys could sign up for that at fieldcraftsurvival.com. All right, guys, meat and potatoes of the podcast. Let's talk about good old time, mother time. I often talk about time and how important it is, but let me break some things down for you because I want you to understand specifically what I mean. It's easy to say time is the most valuable commodity. It's like saying mindset is everything. Well, time is everything. But what do you mean by that? So when I think about time, I think about the allocation and deployment of your time. When I was in the infantry, very young infantryman, I didn't think about this. I knew in order to be successful at something, you had to prepare. I mean, it's one of the reasons I started Fieldcraft Survival because I wanted to create this understanding for people. If you wanted to be successful in the catastrophe, the worst case, or when you were tested, man, that's what it's about, right? It's like you could be tested today. It's not about the worst case scenario or the catastrophe. It's the test. It's the assessment. So all the hard work and the investment in hours of rucking, running, push-ups, pull-ups, training, getting prepared, you are establishing for the one moment in time that you're assessed. And that could be Ranger School, right? 70 plus days when I went to Ranger School was 0 week, where you're assessed constantly in your patrolling skills and your physical fitness skills and all the things that you do. So when everybody was getting wasted, I was putting on a rucksack on Friday evening and going out and rucking. And then when I got back, I got some sleep because when I woke up the next morning, I was going to do more work because I was invested. And I committed and allocated my time in the right places. So the guys that weren't were getting sloshed, just getting wasted, waylaid. So they're butt chucking beers, going out chasing women, and they get back at 3 a.m. They get up at noon because they got a hangover. They can't do anything. So then they just piss away not only the opportunity to grow, to evolve, to get better, but to the detriment of their health, they negatively affect their health. So when you look at investing time, look at it from the position of it's not just what you're doing, it's the positive effects that what you're doing will sustain your health, wellness, mental health, physical health for the long haul. I was thinking about this when I was brushing my teeth the other day, which is weird. But I was brushing my teeth in the shower, which I typically do. I like running hot water over my back because I got chronic back pain, and it feels good to relax those muscles around my back. And not to get all intimate with you, but it feels good. And I brush my teeth, have been doing so for about a decade, in quadrants, or not quadrants, but in sections of a quadrant. So I go upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, and I spend a specific amount of time, 20 seconds in each quadrant, and then move on. Now, that might sound crazy. It sounds crazy just saying out loud, but it's efficient. Because what I've realized over time is that efficiency has led to me having good teeth. I mean, you see these things? I have good teeth, and I have healthy hygiene. Also, you should understand that healthy teeth or a healthy mouth is going to affect positively your cardiovascular system. Like hygiene in your mouth is directly affected with cardiovascular disease because all the bacteria and all the things that are affecting your respiration system, your cardiovascular system, the list goes on. So if you do that, you're going to be healthier. But if you take, let's say, the opposite approach, let's say you brush your teeth to convenience where you're not paying attention. So sometimes you brush your teeth for 20 seconds total. Sometimes you don't brush your teeth at all because it's not a priority. Then what happens? Things degrade. Things fall apart. And then you get plaque. And then you get cavities. And then you get bad health. So yes, it takes a lot of time to recognize that. But the overall arching point is a lot of our routines, conscious or unconscious, lead us into bad or good outcomes. So let me give you another example. Half the country is obese. It's the true epidemic. Like I just heard Bill Maher say this on a podcast with Shapiro, where he admitted, I think it's 78% of, and I might be throwing a wrong statistic here, just look it up. I believe it was 78% of everybody who died from COVID was 65 or above. And it was something like 48% or 50%. It's pretty high of people that died were obese. So if you're above 65 and you're obese, your chances of death are high. That was never talked about. But if you're not, your chances of death are low. So have you ever seen an obese elderly person? Yeah, not common. Why? Because they all die. So we placate to society because we live in a politically correct society where we say being fat is a choice and don't fat shame because it's cool. It's not cool. Stop being fat. If you want to die, sure, be fat. And they kept saying on the podcast, I'm not fat shaming. I'm fat shaming. You should be shamed. or not. I mean, I don't really care to shame you because I don't have the time in my life to give a crap about your habits, but I want you to live healthy. So how else should I approach this? Oh, obviously, with the statistics of people dying from COVID who are obese, the statistics of being the fattest country in the world, we don't have our shit together. But wear that mask, because that's what matters. Yeah, wear your mask and eat your French fries through your mask. So what I look at in obesity especially is the behaviors and habits of people. You know, when you came home every day and you sat on the couch and your kind of relaxing time in your routine was sitting on the couch and eating a bag of chips off your stomach, which I'm guilty of sometimes. Who doesn't like potato chips? And who doesn't like eating them off their stomach? But if you continue to do that, like the alcoholic who drinks the 6-pack, then turns into a 12-pack, then turns into a 24-pack, and they do it every night or every day, and they have liver failure. I unfortunately lost a half-brother who did this because it was just ingrained into his habit. It's an addiction. No, it's like a pattern of his routine. It's more of a habit than anything. We are victims of our habits and routines. So what happens when you eat that bag of chips? Well, doing it every once in a while in moderation, not bad. Doing it every day for 10 years, detrimental. So when I think about time, I'm so focused on the allocation of that time and what I'm investing it in. Let me give you a breakdown of a few brackets of things that I focus my time on. Work or your profession. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so my situation varies, but you could take some takeaways from my specific situation. Let's talk about being an entrepreneur. When I was a young entrepreneur, I've always been an entrepreneur. I had an entrepreneur mindset when I was in special operations. I ran businesses and worked for family businesses when I was in middle school. I grew up in an entrepreneur household, so I understand entrepreneurship and the hardship and the hard work that's required. So when I started my company, Fieldcraft Survival, sure, I didn't have a balance because I was the guy packing the box. I was the guy shipping the box. I was the guy marketing the box. I was the guy answering the emails. And it was just me. I had a little help along the way, but it was just mostly me. So when I got to a point where I was successful and I grew the business, things changed. Now, my pro tip to you is focus on allocating your time in your strengths and hire out the allocation of your time for your weaknesses. Because what happens is if you become consumed with trying to make weaknesses strengths, when your best version of your business is when you could focus on things that you're good at. If you suck at everything, I can't help you. But what am I good at? I'm good at media because it's an organic story, and I'm good at communication. I'm good at storytelling, right? I'm good at marketing. I'd be a good CMO of a company because I'm good at leadership. I could lead through processes, come up with a concept, bring them all the way through in the process to a positive outcome. But now I have people strategically that I put around me that can manage processes for me. So I have a CMO, I have a COO, I have a personal assistant. So now I could focus my time exclusively on hitting home runs for my company. Doing this podcast. I don't get paid for this podcast. My value proposition is offering education to you where you find value in that. And then if you support our business for it, then that's the reciprocation that I need. So do that. Support businesses like mine who are offering and proposing value. So when I also look at work, I think about all of the toxic employees that I've had. Some of them good friends of mine. No offense to them because they're still good friends. I mean, they chose to not be friends with me because I fired them or had somebody else fire them. But they just sucked. They got to a point progressively where they just couldn't do the work anymore. They had egos. They thought it was above them, and they complained. And then they were lazy. I mean, some of these guys were even doing stupid stuff that I won't even talk about. That's like, what? Why are you doing that? And I fired them. Now, when it comes to work and the allocation of my time, I don't have any time to babysit anybody. I'll give you one chance. I'll give you one chance through my employees. You continue to be a problem, I'll fire you. It's that easy. There's plenty of jobs and opportunities for everybody out there, but not in my company. So when it comes to my time and spending a lot of it worried about people problems, which is normal. Now, I wouldn't say I'm not empathetic to it because I deal with it a lot, especially with some of the employees that I ended up firing who are still bitter about that. A year later, they're still bitter about it. It's like, what do you expect, man? I'm trying to run a business here, and you're worried about feeling good or whatever you do. Also in work, when I look at the allocation of my time, I want to optimize my time. A lot of people spend a lot of time allocated in the wrong places. You ever heard of the Gary V talk where he says, Gary Vaynerchuk is a marketing guru. He's a motivational speaker. He became super popular. I haven't seen much from him recently, but I used to like Gary V until I started hearing him say, if you're sleeping, then I'm paraphrasing here, but he was saying basically you don't need to sleep. He gets 4 hours of sleep a night and then he grinds. Well, that's why you have bags under your eyes. That's why you look like shit. That's why your health is degraded. And you don't have endurance. Yeah, sure, he'll be around for a year, 2 years, 3 years doing that thing. But how long will you last outside of that? Not very long. You'll tank. And I'm not to say he's tanked, but I haven't seen a lot from him. I've been in this game for 7 years at the same pace. I post every day on social. I do some kind of media every day on social. Why? Because I'm striking a balance. Now, do I suck at that sometimes? Yes. But I'm committed. So if you're committed and you allocate the time, there is no excuse. You make time. But I'm not going to degrade my health for that. If I have to get 7 hours of sleep every night to be optimized for performance the rest of the day, let's just call it 16 hours because an hour of hygiene on the front and back end of sleeping, then yeah, I'm going to get that sleep and then crush it for the 16 hours. I understand those principles because when you grow up in the infantry and ranger school and special operations and combat, you understand the importance of sleep and performance. So that leads me into health and wellness and fitness, all those things that I love because my back is finally healed. I'm able to go to the gym in the mornings, which is great, which is downstairs for the sake of time. I don't have time to drive 20 minutes and deal with standing in line waiting for a piece of machinery when I could set the stuff up downstairs. I use Mountain Tough and their fitness plans on an app that allows me to work out in hotel rooms, work out on the fly, and I do that. Kettlebell workouts, pushing and pulling my own body weight. So when I think about optimizing my time, it has to primarily be investing in my health, wellness, and fitness. Sleep is number one. I use CBD and CBN. I use a can of CBD. I use the Wolf 21 CBN. And when I take that, it helps me get a good night's sleep because I do deal with chronic pain and I get that solid 7 I need and I wake up ready to kickstart my day. I work out every morning. I don't run and do intervals and all this high-speed stuff I used to do. I walk on a treadmill at incline because I want to get my heart pumping. I want to accelerate my metabolism. I want to get blood flowing through my muscles to kind of focus on my repairing. And then I lift weights. I don't lift heavy, but I lift weights to maintain muscle mass and physical fitness, especially core fitness. I focus on my core because racing cars, doing stuff, and special operations type stuff, I need to do that. I need to focus on that. When I look at my diet, I don't eat like crap. I mostly fast. Like I'm in my fast window now. I fast 16 hours a day. And I have my first meal around 2 o'clock. No, not 16 hours. I'm sorry. 12 hours a day. 12 to 16. That's typically my window. And then I have about a 4-hour eating window. My first meal I'll have at 2 o'clock. I'll eat dinner at 6, and then I'll stop. So a little caloric deficiency. I can only eat so much during that period of time, and that's enough nutritionally, and then I'm set up for the rest of my day. When it comes to being at home, when I allocate time to my family, to my friends, to the ones I love, my phone's upside down or in my pocket, and I'm not deferring to it. Now, there are exceptions to that, depending on what's going on. But for the most part, the phone's down, and I'm focusing on the attention of being present in the moment. I know a lot of guys who go out, they work all day, they bring home work, which is unhealthy, and they can't get that part of their life out of their home life. I like to separate the two, because to be healthy and balanced, I need that separation. The allocation of your time is important, but the quality of the allocation is so much more important. Like when I think about things that I need to do, I need a shed. Do I have time to spend 8 hours building a shed? No, I don't have time. I'll outsource that. Do I have 8 hours of time to spend with family and friends and enjoying their company? Yes, because that's the balance that I need. Today, for example, I'll be doing going over my training notes for rally to get ready for 100 Acre in the Woods. Right after this podcast, in fact. I need to commit and focus on that time. And that's the key. A lot of us don't focus our time because we're so distracted. There's people I know who can't even have a conversation because you talk to them. When it comes time for them to listen, they're so distracted by everything going on in the world, and they're dope fiends for their cell phone. They're so multitask, oversaturated. You need to strike that balance. You need to have the discipline to put your phone down and get off of social media and get out of that virtual reality and spend some time investing in things that are going to make you healthier. This year, my focus in media is going to be doing those experiences. I'm going to teach you how to operate the outdoors with health, wellness, fitness, mindset, building a preparation plan, all focused on the allocation of time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. All the links are below. I got to get to some training notes, training here. I need to shift. I need to reallocate my time to where it needs to be. Focus on that. Get distractions in and around me, away from me, and get ready to crush this race on March 18th and 19th in Salem, Missouri. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe the Mike Force Podcast on YouTube, iTunes, wherever podcasts live, we're everywhere. Peace out. Thanks, guys.